just in a constant state of founder mode because we do have an entrepreneurial mindset where it's like we want to just keep building and building.
I believe it would have the 11th largest GDP on the planet.
Americans probably know that we're not going to step in and do those jobs. So,
welcome back to your favorite podcast on the planet, Realty Talks. We have the queen of the closing table, Suzanne to my left, and I am now formally known as Paul Fix-It-All Hansen. We need input on that nickname, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm completely sold. So
okay,
but yes, I think others should chime in as well. We need our listeners.
Yeah, well, I'm nervous for what the listeners will have to say for both of us. I'm nervous for both of us.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have a packed list of items to talk about.
Yeah,
today.
we do. Yeah, real estate world is crazy. It is very crazy. But so, I think we should just jump right into it.
Yeah.
You know, though, I haven't asked you in a long time, like, what is new with Paul? I feel like we're completely skipping over.
Yeah. In it personally or in the world of business?
I mean, it could be both.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, everything's good. I think, the world of business is all consuming at the moment. I think like maybe 2 months ago, we talked about that phrase founder mode. I listened to the All In podcast guys. They talk about that all the time. I think that's the easiest way to explain where I'm at right now. We've got, a lot of different businesses that we're running on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And all of them have great things happening.
Right.
But they're all consuming.
Yeah. They're taking both of our time.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Early mornings, late nights.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Usually I've been an entrepreneur since I was really 18. And when I look back at my life, when I'm the most happy, it's when I'm in the middle of like really challenging growth phases.
Yeah.
And I think we're kind of in that in different ways in different businesses.
Yeah.
But it's really good.
Well, and I think what's really interesting about it all is like, even when we feel like we're almost getting out of that, it's like we get thrown back into it, or, a new business opportunity pops up. So I almost feel like we're just in a constant state of founder mode because we do have an entrepreneurial mindset where it's like we want to just keep building and building and building. So it's
2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just felt like
I do have an interesting update.
Okay.
Very interesting update. This goes back, I think, 2 episodes. So in LA, there was a lot of drama around, people being deported, ICE.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So no names, obviously, but we had a contractor who's been very good. Worked with him for a long time. I think he's represented that maybe he has 20 or 30 different, laborers on payroll at any given time. Early this week, we identified or found out that 5 of the workers of those 30 are no longer here.
Oh, no.
Yes. Yeah. So 3 of them were actually deported.
Wow. And 2
of them made the decision on Monday to leave.
Wow.
I didn't understand this, but when during this process, when ICE or whatever deports somebody, they freeze a lot of the assets. I don't know that to be factual or true yet.
Yeah.
This is just what I'm hearing from this contractor. It's another business.
Yeah.
But it's like close the bank accounts, keep the cars, all the stuff.
Yeah.
And so 2 of the workers that he had been working with for a long time, 5-6 years, decided Monday, we're clearing out our bank accounts, we're getting in our cars, and we're driving back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just called it.
Yeah. So, and we found out because we did a project management walk on the property and no one was there for 2 days. And the contractor didn't know. Yeah. So we actually told the contractor for the first time.
Oh, man.
So, but it's really interesting. This is an extremely sensitive, very, politically charged conversation, but I have an opinion. I think it's my responsibility to voice my opinion and it's probably not a popular one, but to see that happen to these guys, they go to work every day. They're working really hard.
Their asses off. Yeah.
Yeah. It's work that I think most Americans would not go and do.
Right.
And it gets deeper than that. Like, I sit and listen to people talking about how there's no opportunity, and I'm like, okay, like, go be a framer, go dig trenches for landscaping.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the jobs that we have people willing and raising their hands, excited to go and do that job and put a smile on their face.
Yeah.
And now they're either being deported or they're feeling like the opportunity is going away, and so they're leaving.
Yeah.
On their own will.
Yeah.
I mean, that will impact every consumer.
Yeah.
Not just in California, but at a national level.
I completely agree.
Which to me is like, it's the wrong decision.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like, and we've talked a little bit about this, but it's like, we all started somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's tough when it's like people that are actively, trying and putting in the effort. And it's not a situation where they're stealing someone else's job. I mean, we've talked about it quite a bit, how most of the time it's just people don't want to work very hard,
100%.
And honestly, that's all it comes down to, because you can make a living. Like, you can find your way if you put yourself out there and you work hard. And, like we said, I mean, we have sleepless nights for what we're doing now. Like, it takes a toll. It takes a lot out of you. And I think, anyone, we all have that really great opportunity. So to direct it on, the people that are actually like, out there getting their hands dirty, literally, for us, and to keep costs down for us, all of us, not just you and I. And seeing families like be torn apart, it's crazy. It's pretty rough. It's rough, and I feel like we've been front and center for it with probably the industry that we're in, whereas I feel like others may be a bit removed, like, I might know someone through a friend of a friend of a friend, but we're seeing it firsthand. And it's, I mean, I think, like you said, we're going to suffer as a whole because of it.
Yeah. I mean, California, it's a kind of a good segue into the next thing on our list to talk about, but California as a whole is undersupplied with real estate and housing. And so when you stack on everything that's happening, which is, we have this major fire in LA County, right? Two fires or three fires, 11,000 homes burned down. And then you go and you put pressure on the workforce that is rebuilding that actively to keep costs down.
Yeah.
I was a part of a little panel, just listening in. Actually, I didn't really provide any feedback on it, but, late last week. And initially, after the Palisades and Altadena fire, people were estimating somewhere between $700 and $1,000 a foot to rebuild. But if a third of the workforce is no longer there to perform the actual labor, then those costs could go to $1,200 or $1,300 a foot.
Right.
And if somebody was underinsured at $700 a foot and costs go to $13, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
So, I mean, my opinion is, if somebody is in our country illegally and they've produced harm, like they're dealing drugs or killing people or they're felons, like, of course send them back. Like, let's not incarcerate them on our dollar. But if somebody's raising their hand and saying, I want to work, we should be working to find a pathway to have them be a viable citizen or whatnot. But I also understand, I'm not a politician, so that's an incredibly complicated discussion. But
and
where do you draw the line?
And I think, again, I mean, we're talking about California. Well, I do think this is a widespread issue, but I also feel like things are different for us here, where in our proximity to Mexico and, but then I kind of wonder, because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, well, it's California, and it doesn't really affect us. But I think that people would be really surprised to learn how much it actually does affect every state.
Well, I mean, the macroeconomics that, if you look at it, if California was its own little country, I believe it would have the 11th largest GDP on the planet. So if you're in Des Moines or if you're in, some other state in the United States and you're like, oh, this isn't really affecting us. Yes, it fucking does. Like, if California doesn't have the capacity to rebuild and have supply, it will drastically affect the housing market
Right.
and the market as a whole
Right.
in every other state or really every other country on the planet.
Yeah.
So I do think it's a very, very finicky, position at the moment.
Right.
But I mean, I'm always optimistic. I mean, I would love if that third of the workforce that's no longer going to be there was replaced by, somebody that was raising their hand saying, I'm ready to go to work.
Yeah.
But
We just
what
maybe
that means,
don't believe that.
what that means is, $20, $22, $23, $24 an hour.
Yeah.
8-9 hour days, hard work, labor, actual
Yeah.
labor. We put ads out every day
Yeah.
trying to hire additional labor for all of our construction.
Yeah.
And it's awfully sleepy.
Well,
Crickets.
and that's exactly what I was going to say. Like if someone puts their hand out for that, they will be able to find work. Like we will
hire
there.
30 people today
Yes,
or more.
Exactly. So I think, to assume that, that Americans are going to replace those positions. I mean, we would be silly to think that. So
Have you, last thing I'll say about this, have you seen some of the stand-up bits around all this?
I don't know. I mean, I've seen a few. I'm an Instagram
Dave Chappelle.
user.
Dave Chappelle had like a 2 or 3 minute bit about this, and
Yeah.
it was so good.
Yeah.
He was talking about how Americans
Yeah.
love Nike and they love iPhones, and he's like, okay, but if the cost for your iPhone goes to $10,000 because you're all too lazy to do the work at
Yeah.
that cost,
Yeah.
nobody's gonna have an iPhone.
Yeah.
It was. I can't do it the way he
No,
does
he
it.
was
obviously.
like, I think it was something along the lines of like, I like Nikes. I don't want to make the Nikes or
Yes.
something. Yeah,
It was so
exactly.
good. It was
I
so
know.
good.
I know. But I feel like, I think this is, I don't know. We're in California, so I do feel
Yep.
like the sentiment around us is different. But I mean, don't you feel like most people feel this way? It's
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I haven't talked to somebody that has like a completely opposite perspective of that.
yeah, it's almost like it feels like was a box being checked for this
Sure.
is something, maybe a promise I need to deliver on. But
Yeah.
in practice, and I think even that was retracted a bit when it was
Yeah.
like, oh, just kidding, but not for farmers. It's like
Yeah, or hotels or service. It's
hotels. Surprise.
Yeah.
So, it's like I do feel like the Americans probably know that we're not going to step in and do those jobs. So I don't know. But like you said, I mean, it's so we're not in
Yeah.
politics, and it's so far. It is very complicated.
We could
and I
be,
think
though.
We've talked about this. we can make this happen. But okay, well, moving on, I think we also had some really interesting news in California where our governor Newsom passed or pushed forward, removed a hurdle from building new construction. But it's kind of ruffled some feathers because potentially you don't have as many roadblocks roadblocks is because that's what our opinion probably, we could talk about it. But there are requirements and restrictions for building, depending on, there's a lot of environmental reports and a lot of things that we have to go through, hoops that you have to jump through in order to, build. And I think we're in such a crazy position with the lack of housing and needing to build more houses. And so I think, for a long time we've been saying like, you've got to remove some of the obstacles. You want to build.
Yeah.
We know a lot of people that want to build, but it's just so hard here. And so what do you think? Like, do you feel that this being pushed forward, it's the CEQA, will remove some of those obstacles?
Yeah, so it's the California Environmental Quality Act, right? And for the listeners that are not familiar with what that means, it's essentially some government that's been put into place that says you're going to have to basically push through these hurdles before you're going to get a permit.
Right.
So if I'm a developer and I want to go and build a house or 100 homes or 1,000 homes on this piece of dirt, then I've got to go and prove a lot of things before I get a permit to go and build it. So, and that's generally called like your entitlement or, your soft cost phase. And, this one specifically, I'm still pretty unclear, actually. Like I've done a fair bit of digging into it. It's not like a complete blanket rollback.
Like go build. Yeah.
Yeah. It's primarily focused on like infill locations. And then it's focused on, like utility scale projects. So there were 4 or 5 examples on the docket that I read through, like, waterways, fire, safety things, some, municipal utility upgrades, things of that nature. It's like infrastructure upgrades. They're going to try to roll back all of the red tape that's required to go and fix those issues.
Right.
But, it's just a portion of it, right? So, there's 2 sides of it. Developers, obviously I'm extremely biased because we're in the business of, investing in infill locations and repurposing old tired houses.
Yeah.
And so the less red tape that we have, the better our business model is because we can move quicker.
Right.
The opposite side of that argument is, the environmentalists saying, hey, before we go and put 1,000 or 10,000 houses on this piece of dirt, we need to make sure that, I can give a lot of crazy examples. Like I have a friend that's a commercial real estate developer in Orange County, and they had to prove at one point during this large, call it retail development that was going in. It took them a year to prove this, but they had to prove that there were no old Indian burial grounds in that area or close to that area or proximity.
Okay.
And it took them a year, and they're hiring historians and all sorts of things, right?
Yeah.
I've heard examples where, people are going to see if there's like an endangered, species of field mouse or something, right?
Yeah.
And look, I think, my opinion on this is like logic generally prevails.
Yeah.
So if there's like a mouse that's endangered in, Central California.
Yeah.
I think we should definitely, as a developer, we should definitely listen and hear what an environmentalist perspective is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying let's go torch all the land and kill all the animals and build houses.
Yeah.
But I'm also saying, like, if we have this supply problem, let's have that conversation.
Yeah, let's work towards the solution.
But let's do it in like a week, not a year.
Totally.
Because every deal in our business gets killed with time.
Yeah.
And then obviously the costs. And so, in that particular development that I am aware of in Orange County, that 1 year plus legal costs it was north of $1 million.
Yeah.
So you're adding $1 million of cost and time to a project that ultimately went through.
Yeah.
And what that means for consumers is that when that property gets built and, tenants come in, then your sandwich is more expensive. Your T-shirt that you're buying from that retailer is more expensive because their rent is more expensive because the development costs took longer and that was more expensive.
Right.
So from my vantage point, the tape that has been existing related to this issue creates a higher cost.
Yeah.
Trickling all the way down to the consumer.
Yeah.
But it's really cumbersome and it's a really controversial issue. I'm actually surprised that it went through.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I do. It's funny. I feel, Newsom takes a lot of heat, but I think from both sides he takes a lot of heat at times because sometimes he can be a little more like, I would say that he's kind of in the middle, but
he's trying to become the president.
Yeah. Clearly he wants to show his face quite a bit and, push. Yeah. Anyway, back to politics, I guess. But I think, I think what everyone's saying is yes, you should absolutely consider the environment I think everyone can agree on that. But you said, it's about, the time that it takes to do that. So what is that solution? Because I know, even just dealing with the city and, it's, that is genuinely what slows things down. And like you said, the costs go up. And I don't think that the consumer even realizes that is why they are paying more. So what's the solution there? Is this more people? Is this a Doge thing? What is this?
That's a tricky one.
How does that get better? Because I think if we, that should be the conversation, right?
Yeah.
Like, yes, we should consider the environment and we would love to, but just, that shouldn't take a year to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think, and it's a broad conversation. Like, there's layers to it.
Are you sure we shouldn't be in politics? I don't know.
We could be. I think we should be, actually. We probably get paid less, but I'll go through like a couple of perspectives on this. Number one, if we go all the way down to the city level, I can give you a real world example today, right now.
Yeah.
A local city. I'm not going to name, city names, but during COVID, they became very clear that their old permitting process wasn't viable.
Right.
And so this specific city, when you wanted to go and build something, you would take your plans in on a piece of paper. The city would accept them once they reviewed it, and it would go into plan check review, and then everything was issued on paper. So the city would call you back and say, hey, your permit's ready to issue. You'd walk into the city, you get your permit. It's actually a physical piece of paper. You tape it to the window, and then you call for an inspection. Like, you literally call the city and say, hey, I want an inspection. Inspector would come out the next day or the following day, say, yes, this was done right, and it would all be done on the permitting card.
Right.
What a lot of cities recognized during COVID was that, if we can't interact face-to-face or whatever, so they all started to migrate towards an online submission process. That took, 2-3 years more than they anticipated. So we had projects in these cities that, we sat on for a year to get an answer on.
Yeah.
That just got stuck during that timeline. Now that these cities are in some of these new platforms, their inspectors and all their employees have to adopt the technology.
Yeah.
So this specific city, for example, we have a project that got stuck during that window. We finally get a permit issued. We're now under construction, and the inspector that we had on the old permitting card was experienced, meaning they worked for the city for a long time.
Yeah.
He raised his hands and said, you know what, it's too much. I'm not going to learn this new system. I'm quitting.
Yeah.
And so we sat for 3 more weeks waiting for the city to find another inspector, hire another inspector to come in and actually inspect our work. And so it's one of those things where, and then, when we meet some of these inspectors, I'm like, you don't actually know the code.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't even know how to read the blueprint. So if the city accepts the blueprints and says, hey, this is safe, and an engineer has stamped it, I think all of that tape just needs to go away. Like, we'll build it. You should definitely inspect it, but they've got to be held accountable to an SLA of 1 day or 2 days or something.
Yeah.
And I think another good example is, the Coastal Committee, or Coastal Commission, I'm sorry, in California. They have this massive, basically from the top to the bottom of California, if you're within a certain distance of the coast, this commission has been put into place to protect, the coastal, pristine environment. Yeah. But we have projects right now, for example, that we've been waiting for over 2 years for coastal approval.
Yeah.
And these are existing structures.
Yeah.
So this isn't like, hey, we're knocking down a 3-story building and building 10 stories. It's like, hey, we're knocking down a 3-story building. It's going to remain the same height. We're just going to put new stuff where old stuff was.
Right.
And they're stopping for 2 years.
Yeah.
So to me, I think what it really is getting back to a place where there's just logic in the process of a developer. So if it's going to be like for like and there's no major modifications.
Yeah, that should be fast tracked immediately. Just like an HOA, It's like I think, it can't be that difficult.
No.
And as you said, it does. I mean, that feels very logical, but I think, we don't need to make it harder than it already is. Like, construction is already very hard, very difficult. We're losing people to Mexico. Like, like things are happening. Real estate is very hard. Like, we know that we're in a tough situation. So, while this, I think, is something,
Yeah.
it's not everything. And, I think that is more of what the conversation should be. Like, why is this taking so long? And it's not just real estate. Like,
No, it's all industries, yeah.
Yeah, and especially in California. Like, I think I shared with you when I spoke to some of the legislators on the red tape in California. And I came from, representing on the real estate side, but there were there were other people that spoke up. So, for example, there was autonomous truck, like the big rigs, and they're like, we can't do this in California. It's just not even possible.
Yep.
So we're doing this in Arizona because you won't let us, know? And so, and that entire room was filled with that same conversation. So I think, we, as much as I get it, like we have to be mindful of the environment and, other things that come into play. I think it's just, it's got to move faster. Otherwise it's going to continue to hinder us and, drive costs up. So,
I think my opinion of the solution is you push it back to the local government and municipalities. And so, for example, let's say that I want to go and build 100 houses, or let's say that I want to take an existing structure and improve it. I think that the state should kind of just get out of the way, and the developer would need to go to the city, submit a set of plans. Those need to be engineered, structural, everything stamped off, and so somebody that's licensed saying, yes, this is going to be a safe development.
Right.
And then I think you have to go back to the community and get input, and then have somebody, whether that's the mayor or the city manager or some development, head of development or something, has to make a decision very quickly. Call it 1 week or 3 weeks or some period of time. But, in the event that...
Not 2 years?
No. In the event that I'm going to go and put a new house where an old house was, the people that it's going to impact the most are the neighbors.
Right.
And so if you just simply said, okay, let's say that this house has 5 or 6 direct neighbors, on either side of the street. Let's get all of those people to sign off.
Yeah.
If they don't sign off, let's have a hearing. If 4 out of the 5 or 6 signed off, then it goes through.
Yeah.
If it's 3 and 3, then let's have a discussion around it. That probably means that the design is going to create some sort of a drastic impact on value or something.
Right.
But we can't let this stuff drag out for 2 years, because we'll always have a supply problem if that occurs.
Right.
And I actually think that the local municipalities or the local government would be the faster way to go and solve those things.
Yeah.
And let's say that
they're motivated to, If
we live in the same city and you and I have opposing beliefs, we both get to go and vote for our local politician, right? And they're the ones that I think could actually make a change on this.
Yeah.
But when you push it to the state, it just becomes incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
They overhire. It's safer for them to say no and stamp it no until they have a lawsuit in front of them saying, I have to say yes.
Yeah.
So that's why these things tail off, and it costs us all so much money. But,
yeah,
I know that is an oversimplification of what it could look like.
Yeah.
And there's going to be nuanced situations, but that's my opinion on how it could be solved.
Vote for Paul, fix it all.
No.
Hansen. That's
I'm not electable.
Okay. Yeah. I feel some stories have already been shared on the podcast that would probably make it like
not electable.
Yeah. And they might haunt you, but you never know with how life is.
What? Last thing I'd say, there was a 26-year-old that was voted in as a mayor in Orange County.
Oh.
Laguna Beach.
Oh, all right.
26-year-old, really smart kid, right down the middle.
Wow.
Laguna is like a very politically charged city. It's like Orange County is really pretty Republican,
right?
Like pretty conservative. They're historically extremely the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And he ran as a Democrat, but is right in the middle, and so maybe we are electable.
Yeah. You never know. Okay, well, I think it's time for a story.
Oh, let's do it.
I want to hear a real estate story. So, Home's Gone Wild.
Okay. Okay.
I'm ready.
So in this week's segment, Homes Gone Wild, for our new listeners, we're gaining new listeners every week. For our old listeners, this is a bit repetitive, but we have, different segments on the podcast. So we have, either agents or just, avid listeners that submit stories about unique home situations. This is the first time I've seen it.
We love sending it over to Paul to get his expressions, and he does a great job.
Okay, so in this week's segment of Homes Gone Wild, about 17 years ago, I had a Hollywood director as a client, showing him one apartment while he was filming a movie in the city. They called on my rental listing, which wouldn't do less than 1 year. He was looking for 3 to 4 months. His manager was the one who called me and asked if I had anything else. I showed him the luxury apartment building across the street that would do shorter-term rentals. The movie had 2 of the biggest stars of the time in it. Not that I really care, but it was interesting.
Okay. They cared. Okay.
Give us names.
Yeah.
We were in the elevator with his manager, and the director had me say a line. Then he offered me a small part in the movie. I just gave my card when he asked, but of course, no one called. LOL. I should have gotten his casting manager's info and coordinated instead of just giving the card. Anyway, the movie ended up going straight to the video anyway. The movie ended up going straight to video anyway.
So never in the theaters.
I'm not sure. I guess. I mean, it's a flop.
Yeah.
Okay. But 2 big names.
Yeah.
We could probably chat GPT
deduct.
this and figure out what it is. That was my big break in Hollywood, and I blew it. LOL. Hollywood wasn't in the cards and wasn't an interest of mine anyway. Selling real estate is, and the grind continues.
Oh, what a bummer.
A swing and a miss.
You know what's funny? I find it really comical whenever someone's like, oh, but I'm not into that, or no big deal, celebrities, when I would say probably the only person, I think we've said that before.
Yeah.
And we had a situation where we saw Kanye and wifey literally in front of us in the hallway, and we were both like,
whatever.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
we were like, oh yeah, did you see Kanye? Oh, okay, cool. Let's go. But I find it funny because I feel like the whole story, that's what that was about.
That's what they wanted.
Clearly that is what you wanted. So
input. Tell us these people and let us know if you actually got the lease done or not. We want real estate stories, not your failed attempt at being famous.
In real estate, I think it's not that hard to be famous these days. You can do it.
Yeah.
You might give up a little bit of your soul doing it, but you can do it. There's a lot of shows out there. So I feel that there's still time. You're in LA. So if this is what you want, I think you can make it happen.
I haven't seen the data yet this year, but I believe last year real estate was the number one
consumed
section in Netflix.
Yeah.
Netflix published it. More people watched hours of real estate shows than any other subsect on Netflix, which is crazy.
I was going to say that feels crazy to me. It doesn't feel right with all of the other, but maybe that's all the other verticals are convoluted. I don't know. That just feels so crazy to me.
Well, so when I read that,
I'm in real estate, and I purposefully cannot ever watch any shows.
There's one. So when I read that data, I am the same. We don't watch any real estate TV at home. But a year ago when I read that data, I'm like, okay, let's go see what's out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of junky stuff with a lot of drama, but we found this one show on Netflix. It's great. It's called The Agency or L'Agency in French.
Okay.
You have to read it in subtitles because it's in French. They speak in French.
Yeah.
But it's this cute little family. There's a mom and dad that started a real estate business in Paris. And then all 3 of their sons work in the business.
Okay.
And the grandma interacts, and it's really cool. But the architecture is incredible. So they really show beautiful, French properties.
Yeah.
They're now kind of selling all over the world and stuff. But it's consumable. Okay. You just have to be willing to read.
Yeah.
But we love that show.
Do you think we should start a real estate show? Is that what?
I think it would be. I think I would be terrible on that show. I think we should, and we should just have our agents do it.
I think we would all. I mean, we talked about it the other day because we do produce, great content and great videos for our listeners. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely check out our Instagrams for Buy House and Innovate. But the point is, we document the process and our projects and everything else. But we were recently, as we were brainstorming, and we were like, oh yeah, we'll bring this agent in and this person in. And then, as you start thinking it through, it's like, oh man, they're not going to be the actresses we want them to be in this scenario. Which I think is really great, because I think that brings our authenticity out in everything we do. We would rather be authentic with what we produce than fake it.
Well, I think that's probably why it would be consumable. So that's all the reason probably to do it. I mean, if you think that we've talked about this in the past, but when you watch like the drama-filled real estate shows, it's like 30-minute episode has 3 minutes of actual real estate content and then just drama around 2 or 3 people. But what's funny is when you look at our businesses, we now have 175 full-time agents growing, at the brokerage, and then all of the internal operational people. And when you hear all of the personal dynamics that are happening.
We actually don't need to fake it at all.
It's crazy.
Not at all. Yeah. We got a lot we could put out there. Cool. Okay. Well, I think we should wrap it with rate that listing. I think let's rate a listing. I heard we're getting the price today.
Oh,
we're getting the price and
of what it listed for, and then we're trading. Well, because the tally is officially you 1, me 0. Okay. You were closer on the last one.
Okay. Nobody knows what.
Got it.
Okay, so we're getting location, price of home, number of bedrooms and bath, and square footage.
Okay.
And then we're gonna rate the listing.
Oh, we're just rating.
We're rating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Easy.
We're going back to basics.
Okay, so you are winning forever 1-0.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I like that game.
Yeah, sure.
I've told you I am competitive.
Me too.
So,
that's why I was excited.
Like we're deep down. Yeah.
Who do I have to pay behind the doors here?
All right.
Okay. Hillsborough, California, 94010. So that's up north, I believe.
Okay.
Hillsborough, is that?
4,068,600.
Okay. 3 beds, 2 baths, 2730 square feet. This seems to be like wine country to me.
Yeah.
Hillsborough's near. It sounds like Healdsboro, but it might be near there. Let's see.
Okay, let's keep it going.
Oh,
okay.
Yes.
Well, I don't know how to describe this. I'm going to need your help here because
I can
it kind of
absolutely
looks like
do
a football helmet on top.
Yeah, or like a weird shoe. So this is you can tell it's kind of a rural area. There's lots of trees and everything. So if you're just listening, I recommend tuning into the YouTube
Yeah, you
episode.
probably want to see this house.
This is a red and purple house. It's like Adobe.
Yeah.
But there's no squared lines. Everything is rounded.
Rounded and smooth.
It looks to me like a clown shoe. Like a big red clown shoe.
All right, take me inside this house. I need to see. Okay.
I mean, lots of glass. It's obviously an artistic home.
But a strange artistic home.
Oh, it's from a show. Interesting. We're getting
told
input from Junior.
that this is from a show. Oh, so maybe like a TV. Okay, got it. Not like what we were just talking about, real estate show. This is
this the Jetsons' house?
Ooh, let's see.
Let's keep going here.
Okay.
Okay, inside is pretty. It's about what I would have thought. I mean, like just normal tile floors, but stuccoed walls. Every room seems to be circular.
Yeah, the ceilings are pretty low.
It looks like a cave inside. Like every little nook and cranny is a cave.
Okay, so what show could this be? That should have been the game. Guess that show. Okay. We'll get there.
Okay.
All right.
This is odd. I don't know what this is. This is the kitchen. So we're in the kitchen right now. There's a refrigerator. You've got like a cool skylight above, but everything is circular. It's looks like you're underwater. You're in like a coral reef.
Okay,
in this
maybe
room.
this could be like is this SpongeBob?
SpongeBob SquarePants. Okay.
That was my best guess.
Well, that was a good guess. Well, actually, it's kind of cool though. Every room has a big skylight, so you're getting a lot of natural light.
A lot of light for probably without that. I think that would have been pretty dark.
Yeah, in this bedroom, it's just a bedroom. It's a very weird bedroom.
Yeah.
Dining room. Oh my God, look at the face on the back of the chair. On the right.
Oh, what is that?
It's like a creepy
It's like
clown
a Chucky
face.
mask or
Yeah, something weird's going on here. This was a horror film. Or a horror show.
All right. We're getting a no, so let's see.
The bathroom? It's got to be the bathroom. Dual vanity, a sliding
Who's buying this house for $4 million?
in Hillsboro. I don't
Yeah,
know.
which it says SFAH amount. So is this the San Francisco?
Oh yeah, it's got to be up north
Okay.
for sure. Oh, that's kind of cool though. I'm into that. So this is like the living room. It's like a sunken. This is like mid-century vibes, right? Where you had a sunken living room. You've got like concrete and then lots of pillows and it's centered around a fireplace. That's kind of cool. Circular window.
Okay.
Another bathroom. Very odd bathroom.
Yeah, I think all of it is strange to me. It's all pretty similar.
Whoa.
Okay, that's
it's like a
interesting.
WWF wrestler on the right.
Yeah, there's like it's a stuffed animal or stuffed wrestler.
Stuffed wrestler.
Stuffed wrestler.
A deer horn. This is very
Okay.
rustic. A deer horn lamp in the right corner.
Oh.
So this is the aerial view of the house.
Is that
It's very odd.
What? Okay, that's an eye. There's eyes on top of the house, right? These are eyes.
Yeah,
Right?
it looks like
Is
Peppa.
that like an
it looks
elephant?
like Peppa Pig.
Yeah, I feel like.
This is the
All
Peppa
right,
Pig house.
we're getting there. We're getting there.
Okay, that's it.
That's it? Oh, okay.
So we're rating the listing.
All right. Well, the listing for $4 million is, I mean, what do you do with that? I think you have to lean into.
Acid.
Yeah.
That's what you do if you live in that house, or mushrooms. That's what you do if you live in that house.
I would probably put like pictures of what show it was like on the walls.
Sure.
To like help people really understand when they're looking at the photos.
I would have painted the exterior not pink and purple. And
do you think that would help it or hurt it? Because I kind of feel like with that design, it's almost like you have to embrace it.
The
if it was,
funkiness?
if it was for a show. Like,
yeah. I'll give my rating first. I give it a 2. It doesn't present well.
Yeah. I mean, it's
For $4 million?
yeah,
Holy Toledo.
it's-
What are you rating it?
I'm gonna give it a 2.5.
2.5. Okay.
2.5. I mean, what can you do? Like, there's not a lot you can do there, but I think that, for that price, it's just is what it is.
So for our listeners, they don't get to see Junior in the background, but Junior, what show was this on? The Flintstones. Abba dabba doo.
Oh man.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
We should have guessed that.
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed because at one point it did pop into my mind when you said the Jetsons, but I was like, no, that was too old, and that was like, So
But back then, that was like futuristic and interesting.
Yeah.
And Flintstones. Holy cow! I gotta watch an episode of that.
Okay, but now I think. But I guess that's my point. I feel like I would, walking through that house in every single photo, it should be like Flintstone. Like that should scream Flintstone.
Yeah, in the garage, do one of those little pedal cars or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Like you have to embrace it because it's so funky. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
So you have to embrace like the OG.
Maybe that's
Flintstone
dirt value
vibe.
in Hillsboro. I don't know. I mean, if you're in wine country, maybe that's dirt value. Somebody's just going to scrape it.
Maybe.
Did it trade? Do we know if that sold? Hasn't sold. It's
Oh,
listed.
it's
so if you're
listed.
interested in buying for
Great
$4 million,
news.
the Flintstone house.
Flintstone house is available.
If you're an agent in Northern California and you actually close this transaction, please let us know. We'll send you our referral agreement because we helped you sell this house.
All right. Well, on that note, I think that's a wrap for today. I think we talked through a lot.
I have one other question though
Okay,
around
I'm
brokerage.
scared now.
No,
Okay.
it's a good thing.
I always, never know where this is
We're not going to
going.
give a lot away, but I know right now I've been a part of 2 or 3 meetings with large teams that are moving to innovate. So why is that happening now? Why are we can't name any sort of names of brokerages and stuff.
I'll
And
be
they're
nice. I
they're
will be
different.
nice.
All
Yeah.
sorts of different brokerages, right? from like the kind of prop techy recruiting brokerages all the way to, kind of the big boxy, like historical brands. We're hearing these teams that have been functioning for 10, 20 years looking for something different.
Yeah.
Why is that happening in today's market?
I think it's interesting because we're in a market where we're in a down market, right?
Sure.
Like we've been talking quite a bit. I think we said transactions are down 40% year over year. So we've been talking a lot about how we're experiencing challenges in the market. And whenever that happens, agents historically are either looking at their brokerage or, they're unhappy when they're not making money, right?
Sure.
So, but I think the biggest difference between a brokerage like us and maybe a big box brokerage is we're directly connected with our agents. We're really focused on our culture and we're in the trenches with them, I would say.
Yeah.
Whereas, some of these big box brokerages, they're so far removed just looking at the dollar.
Yeah.
And there's so many layers to that really by the time it gets down to the agent or vice versa, there's no real communication or transparency there. And so the agents aren't happy. They're not feeling supported. They're not feeling like their brokerages actually care because they quite frankly don't. They're
it's just a number. Yeah.
You're a number. And so I think when you're in a market that's this challenging, that problem it makes you question. And while maybe you've just been getting by and doing your thing and in your routine, when things slow down and you look at the situation as a whole and you see a brokerage like Innovate and like what we do at Buy Buy House and you see what's actually out there and it blows their minds, because these brokerages they've been doing the same thing, as you said, for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
And it's always been about like the brand,
Sure.
That's their selling point is you have our brand to back you when, I think we can all admit that brand literally means nothing. Like the agent is the one that is doing the work on your transaction, And so if you have a good agent, it really doesn't matter the brand behind them. We all are pretty advanced to where we have access to great marketing tools. And I mean, that was kind of my thing that I would say at every listing presentation, because every agent is going to show up at that listing presentation and they're going to say, I'm going to give you drone video for your listing and, give this whole spiel. But really the only difference between any of that is the agent, agent that's negotiating the deal, that's, getting your property out there, hustling, door knocking, getting you the exposure you need. And, I think it's the same thing with the brokerages. It's you can't lean on the brand. It has to be you.
Yeah. So we could talk about it on another episode, but I think there's a tough question that I've gotten feedback, from people on, which is, we're still relatively small at Innovate, but things are growing.
Yeah.
So how do we collectively continue that culture as it gets big? Because inherently we will get bigger as these bigger teams come over.
Yeah.
I could see us in a year from now or 2 years from now being at 1,000, 2,000 agents.
Yeah.
The experience that an agent at Innovate gets today obviously will be different then, but that's why these people are coming today. So that maybe that's a subject for another podcast. But
I think the short, it's tough, but I think the short version is, we're not a recruiting brokerage. So I think you'll see that with some of these brokerages that are literally just their agents. They're incentivizing their agents not to be agents. They're incentivizing their agents to be recruiters. So the agents are just going to bring on whoever because that's how they're getting paid. It is kind of like a pyramid scheme.
A publicly traded pyramid scheme?
Again, for a topic for another day. But so, I think you're going to lose culture when you're just bringing anybody on. Yeah. I think, what we've really been able to do, and as we continue to grow and bring people on, we're finding the right people, the people that are the right fit for who we are as people, you know, and some of these conversations that we've been in, I mean, we've met with them multiple times to make sure that they are great fits for our culture and personalities. And so I think as long as you keep that, and it doesn't have to be from me and it doesn't have to be from you as we grow, but to identify that, I think that is how you keep the culture long term.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, just the last thing we'll close with is that brokerage, publicly traded brokerage. I believe last year, we won't name the name. You can go and do the research. Maybe we'll have
articles,
a full episode.
Recent,
But I believe in 2024, they paid their agents $25 million in rev share, which is like to recruit other agents to do deal flow.
Right.
And they lost $26 million.
Yeah.
So they are
it feels
losing
like,
money in the model.
Yeah. Feels like that may not make the most sense long term. And that's a lot of money. And but they have brought over a lot of agents for that. And they are they have to constantly pay that out. That number isn't going away. It's only growing.
But I just want to make sure I understand math. Like if you're losing $26 million and all of these agents that already came over transacted, and you had to pay them all those dollars, and you have to continue paying those dollars, how does that end?
Yeah, not in a positive way. I will tell you that. So, you know, again, we can...
Actually, I feel like it is a positive thing. They probably just end up with us.
Exactly. I mean, positive for us, maybe not positive for them, but okay. We'll get there. Okay.
Well, thank you, listeners. We appreciate it. Obviously, without you guys, we don't get to do this. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. It helps out a lot. Share our message with anyone you think would have interest in it. And don't forget to submit more details in Home Gone Wild. We want to know who the actors were and if you got the dang lease.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
See you next time.